Okay. BCA 101. 10, 12, 16, I believe this is day 18. And we are on Unit 4. And this is actually week 7. So, some terms we talked about today. Clickbait, and we talked about how on the internet you might see an ad or a picture or something to get you to click it. The students looked this up, Wikipedia, so we got an idea of the fact that it's bad, it leads people to certain things on the internet. We talked about virtual memory. You can have a hard drive and have virtual memory on there. As memory fills up with all important things like the operating system and so forth, when it starts getting full, it's going to leave some things in virtual memory. When it needs them, it needs to bring them in out of memory. Some terms that go with that: swap, page file. And so, remember, the speed here is like a jet airplane, it's like a turtle. So when you get to the point where you start using virtual memory and it has to move that information in and out, it slows up the performance of the computer. Virtual reality we talked about. They talked about in gaming and a couple other areas where virtual reality came up. I talked about they'd create virtual reality where they put somebody in a bread line to have them have more empathy towards a poor person. We might be able to do a lot more in our country of virtual reality in the future for helping people better understand people that maybe have a tougher time in life. We talked about, can you video record the classroom? In our situation, yes, if you get permission. We talked about the instructor that was making some inappropriate comments about Kaepernick and his, not standing up for the national anthem, and then the students recorded this instructor, and then she was fired for her comments. Last couple weeks. We talked about deep learning, artificial intelligence. That actually comes at the end of the course. But this idea of computers and deep learning. I mentioned coding, and I said if they hadn't watched the video, you need to watch the video on coding. Actually, code.org is where the video's from. And some people said, well, yeah, but I'm not going to be a programmer. I'm not sure it would be important for me to have coding. Coding wouldn't be for everyone. I say it's for everyone. It's similar to, I gave the example, all 3 of my kids took Latin when they were in high school. And they said it's one of the more valuable courses they ever had leading into college. English courses in college. Sometimes you learn something from something that makes you way better at other things. I think this would help tremendously in the world of technology if people understood what coding was really about. Even if they're not going to become a programmer, they're going to do much coding. All right. I did skip over something back over there. I can mention that right now. We mentioned also about understanding devices. You like computing, or we compared a car to some computing device. And why understanding more about that? Well, a car is great in our world because it gets us from point A to point B, but it doesn't have a huge impact on our life. It's just a means of transportation. Whereas computing devices not only allows us to do this, this, and this, but they have an effect on our lives. Just think about jobs and how jobs have changed because of technology. Anyway, we talk about that the entire course. Navigating content. Nowadays we have what's called hypertext, hypermedia, or what people see as links. You could be going along in some content, and there might be a link. You can click on that link and go to other contexts. Hypertext. This has become a huge advantage in terms of information. You know, you can be in many documents and right-click some information in that document and actually find more information about that. It's been a huge advantage in how we navigate content. Way different. Same thing in hypermedia. Well, we'll talk more about that video and audio, digital nowadays. There is software multimedia authoring programs that allow you to create this, and probably the most common place, which we're going to talk about on Friday, is websites. And the last thing, digital audio and video. Very easy to capture nowadays. You can do it with a camera. You can do it with a lot of smartphones and so forth. You can create animations and video type stuff on a computer. You can edit it. One thing we mentioned, if you're editing lots of video, that's where memory becomes crucial, because video, in order to create video, it takes up a lot of bits, which then would use up a lot of memory. And remember, if you start to fill memory and have to start going back and forth to the hard drive for virtual memory, that really slows your computer down. Okay. And then, is it hard to distribute nowadays? No. There are so many ways. If it's video, YouTube, plus there's that Vimeo and so forth. There's lots of options here. Audio, music, you can distribute that also through YouTube. Or you can use any streaming service for your music. For example, Bandcamp. A couple students have heard of it. My kids, my boys were in a band, like way back, and they still are. They have music. You can look on Bandcamp for 1047, and they have an album there. When they first created their first 2 CDs, they did it in Waterloo, and they paid a producer to help them do it, and they spent a week in Waterloo to produce the first one, and a week to produce the second one after a couple more years. Then the third one they produced themselves using their own equipment digitally on computers, and then they put it on Bandcamp to distribute it, and that is free if you want to use Bandcamp. And now this year it cost them a little bit of money, I think like $20, and they put it on streaming services. So their latest album, 1047, is on iTunes and all the other major streaming services. Anybody can do this. Years ago, it would have been terribly expensive to create videos or a CD. Even this was fairly costly to do that. Now, people can do it in their garage, in their house, or whatever. All right. So that was it for today.